Welcome back to Morning Coffee, everybody, right here on the Radio Vision Network. I am Mark Cook, and look, it's the holidays, and you got to give gifts, right? And look, jewelry is always one of the hottest gifts to give. But this year, we're changing the game a little bit because you need some gemstones, right? You need those big, colorful, beautiful stones. And look, it's what people want. It's the biggest trend in jewelry right now, and I have an expert on the line. She is the director of marketing for Gemfields, and her name is Sally Morrison. Good morning, Sally, and welcome to Morning Coffee.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're quite welcome. This is awesome, right? Because, look, the jewelry industry is kind of changing a little bit because designers are working more with these precious colored stones. So tell me, if I'm out shopping, what do I need to consider when I'm choosing one of these colorful gemstones?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. There is a trend towards, I think, colored gemstones, and it seems to be to do with self-expression and expressing your personal style and those kinds of things. So I think one thing to know before you go shopping is a little bit about the style of the person you're going to pick for, right? Is she somebody who would love a sort of warm, soft ruby color? Is she someone who is more like a cool green personality? So I think you have to look at her style. And then, again, what kind of jewelry does she wear? Is she someone who'd like a simple pendant necklace? Does she like to rock a big, elaborate earring? So you must know that before you start to look, I think. You know, who is that girl? What is her style?
Yeah, and it's amazing because, you know, look, and I want to make sure everybody understands that Gemfields is the world's leading supplier of colored gemstones, but they do it responsibly, and that's a really important aspect of it because, look, people are buying, wearing, gifting. They are all about these gemstones more than ever before. Sally, do you have any insight on why they're becoming so popular?
I do think it's the thing we were talking about. I think it's about that we're living in a moment where people want to express themselves. They don't want to do like their parents did. They want to be a little different. We're seeing, for example, a trend among millennials to go to alternate engagement rings, and whether that's, you know, precious gemstones like rubies and emeralds, or indeed semi-precious stones. There is a sort of change in the air. They're rejecting what their parents did, and I think other people are sort of rejecting the past too. So it's about this new feeling of who I am, and I'm gonna wear something different and new.
Yeah, well, you mentioned emeralds and rubies, and I think like the thing about it is that you really got to see, touch, feel, and just be around some of these gemstones because the colors and the light and it kind of, I don't want to overstate it, but these gems have the ability to kind of transform you into a different world with the different cuts and the brilliancy and all of that. So, you know, is it up to the designers to make sure that they're putting out the right stuff for people?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, you're speaking to a national audience, Mark, and I would say if they want to go, for example, to Macy's.com, we have a great collaboration with them right now where they put out a fantastic new designs with Gemfields rubies and emeralds. But also we're seeing, you know, very interesting young emerging designers working in color. If your listeners want to go to twistonline.com, there's a number of very interesting young designers like Michelle Fantacci, Yossi Harari, who are really doing interesting things, maybe setting those gemstones in a different way, maybe in black enamel. There's this fantastic artist called Holly Diamond who's making these sort of modern iconographic rings with tiny hearts in enamel and then putting little tiny rubies and emeralds around them. I mean, fantastic, interesting work. So I think we're seeing a new wave of jewelry design, and I think we're seeing that from the independents and the individuals, and then all the way up to the chain stores like Macy's, who are really embracing color and saying that customer wants something a bit fresh and a bit different now.
Well, I mean, it's kind of really exciting, and it's got to be especially exciting for somebody like you, who this is their whole life, that finally the industry is changing a little bit, and you're adding more spice and flavor and flair and all that stuff, but Gemfields does such great work, and like I said, they're the world's leading source of responsible source gemstones, and I'm talking to Sally Morrison, who's the director of marketing over there. Now, Sally, I know you guys did this huge survey where you were trying to determine, you know, the kind of the landscape of the Gemfield market. So I kind of need to know what were the results of that survey, and are there any particular gems that are going to be more popular this holiday season?
Yeah, we did a survey very recently. We spoke to 4,000 consumers across the country who had given or received jewelry in the last 2 years, and a third of them had in fact received sapphire, emerald, or ruby jewelry, so fine colored gemstone jewelry. So that was very interesting. Among the younger group, the millennials, the numbers were a little higher than that. So there's a little bit of a shift there, I think, in the zeitgeist at the time. But one thing that was particularly exciting to me, having been in fine jewelry, you're right, for more years than I care to say, of the people who owned a piece of colored gemstone jewelry, 80% of them said they wore it every day. Like, they don't keep it for best, right? So it's something that expresses them, who they are. Maybe it's a very simple pendant necklace, and they never take it off. So that to me was very interesting. That there's something that's sort of accessible, sort of wearable, and it says something about them, but it doesn't say too much. You know what I mean? They don't have to keep it for when they're in a formal dress and ready to go to an elaborate party or something. It's something that they wear and becomes part of them. And I thought that was an exciting, interesting insight.
Well, I think that people need to kind of get on this wave because gemstones are personal, and it's about how they make you feel, and that's why they're everyday, right? Because people want to feel a certain way. These gemstones really kind of they hold this weird power, and it's hard to explain, and you don't want to overstate it or understate it, but people are wearing them every day because of the way it makes them feel, right, Sally? I mean, it's all about.
I think that's totally. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Totally correct. I think historically, rubies, emeralds, sapphires have become kind of talismans, right, in the culture historically, and they do mean something, and people feel sort of protected by them, and it's a way of them telling their own story. It's a sort of, and I will always say, if you look in a woman's jewelry box, you can tell the story of her life. So, I think color does say something to humans. It perks them up. It makes them excited. And honestly, if you look, for example, in some of this collection that Macy's have done this season, beautiful emeralds, beautiful rubies, but with diamond accents. So it's not about either or. But
right.
I do think there is something going on where people want to make a statement about color, and maybe the husband or the boyfriend, he's already given her a piece of gold jewelry, he's given her a diamond, and maybe this is time to do something new and say, I'm putting some thought in this, and this is something a little bit different.
Yeah, you're speaking directly to me because this is what I think I have to do this year for my wife. It's a fantastic idea. Where do I need to go to get more information, Sally?
I think a good place to start is gemfields.co.uk, which sort of tells the story of our brand and responsible sourcing and what we stand for. And then if people want to start to browse, I thoroughly recommend twistonline.com. It has a great selection of modern, interesting designers and some things very affordably priced. And Macy's.com, an amazing selection. And I would say check that out before Black Friday, because I think there are always great deals come Black Friday, so it's good to do your research before that moment comes, right?
Yeah, definitely. This was absolutely fantastic. I hope everybody out there goes and changes their idea about gemstones. Go pick them up. Sally, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me on Morning Coffee.
It was a great pleasure. Thank you, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Thank you very much. I got to take another quick break here, folks, but don't go anywhere. I'm going to be right back here.